Hello, everyone. Welcome to the new episode of Alumni Reflect, where SAIC tries to bridge the gap between the Thaper alumni and students. Today, we are joined by one of our beloved alumni, Dr. Lovneesh Chanana, who graduated from the university in 1991 and is currently working as the head of government affairs at SAP. We welcome you, sir. Hope you are doing well.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm perfectly fine. And I take this opportunity to say hello to all the fellow Thaparians wherever in the world they are.
Okay, so my first question to you is could you take us back to your very first day at Thapa? What was it like stepping onto campus as a new student? What were your aspirations at that time?
Oh, so you are taking me back long time in my memory, but the day is still very vivid in my memory. I remember it was the summer of '86, and I just made it into Thapar Institute, and that time we had 180 students in a batch, and we had the outside Punjab quota wherein we were 10 students to come, and I was the last one in the admission list in the outside Punjab quota. So I was the very last admission, got the roll number 153 by 86, a batch that became later on both something as a relief that I got into Thapar and also responsibility later on. And I went to Patiala from Delhi. Obviously, on day one, I would say it was a mix of excitement, bit of nervousness, and when I look back, there was definitely a quite determination also. That I'm here now, I have to do something. So that time the building had those red bricks, the red brick buildings. The paths were tree lined. The buzz of students everywhere. Uh, I would say day one was overwhelming, but in the best possible way. That time, I would say, Harshita, the campus had a very raw, unpolished charm, not like the one that you will have now. It wasn't as flashy, but it had its own soul. That's what I would like to say. The hostels were very basic, and I can vouch for it. Many will say the mess food was good enough to build one's character. It was to test. But what struck me most was the diversity of the students from all over Punjab that time, and and from outside. Many of us who came from outside, not me but others, were even called Yankees. So each with their own story, their own dreams, and but what happened is, on after a week or so, when we sat down under the tree in the main campus, that's when you realize that everybody shared the uncertainty, everybody shared the hope, and that's when you realize that you are all in it together, and that was the beginning of the friendship that would last for the rest of your life. So if I can say the first day feeling, that अभी तो पंख खुले हैं, उड़ान बाकी है, जमीन छू ली है, बस अब आसमान बाकी है. So we touched the ground that day. So that was the kind of feeling that we had on day one.
That's great. So, do you remember your hostel days? Any traditions or memories you would like to share with us?
Oh, so yeah, hostel was another interesting area. So if I consider engineering colleges as factories, I would say hostels are the forging units. There you get forged, uh, you know. And when I stepped into the hostel, I had a very interesting experience. I had no idea the world that I'm entering into would shape me beyond the classroom, would shape me beyond this thing. And since I was the last one to be admitted, few of us, I think 15, 20s students, we were not put in the hostel meant for freshers. We were put in the
Okay.
hostel meant for seniors, right? So only
Oh,
15, 20 freshers scattered among a sea of seasoned second year students. So it was very intimidating at first for me, like being dropped into deep waters without living, without actually learning to swim. The rooms that time were really modest. We had wooden cots, we had wooden desks and fans that will work only when the fans felt generous. So we had to use that stick. But what we lacked in comfort, when I look back, we really made up in friendship in hostel. That's what the hostel teaches you. Mornings will begin with that clatter of buckets. Evenings were for cricket. In the quadrangle, chai at the roadside. That time it used to be a one-man shop of of a person called, we used to call him Lalu, and he will make
yes.
those bun omelets. So those were unforgettable. The best thing to like about hostel life when you look back were the power cuts. Today if there is a power cut, all of us feel, but that time, frankly, everybody was oddly welcoming power cuts. So when power cut will happen, suddenly the hostel would erupt in cheers. We'll all gather in corridors. We will stare at stars and all. So, hostel life really teaches you what no textbook can. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you how to survive on a very tight budget. It teaches you
Yes.
how to negotiate with the mess warden, how to live with people whom you don't want to live otherwise, right? And then also teaches you, one thing, that success is not about marks or placement. It's about the people
Yes.
who grow with. I remember, if I can summarize my experience in hostel that time, it was like ना घर अच्छा लगता है ना कॉलेज में मन लगता है, बस दिल है कि हर वक्त कहीं ना कहीं भटकता रहता है. So that's the kind of mental state we had when we were in the hostel.
Okay. So since there were no cell phones or internet in the hostels at that time, so what used to be your favorite pastimes with your friends during free evenings or weekends?
So weekdays obviously were a bit intense that time. So we used to walk all the way. There were assignments, lectures, labs. Evenings was our time to breathe, to connect, and to be ourselves. And remember this, yeah, you rightly said, this was a world without internet, without smartphones, without
Yeah.
even cable TV in hostels. So what we did actually, we made our own fun. We were the creators of our own fun, right? Evenings were often spent in the hostel corridors or in canteen. Somebody will start talking about anything under the sun, and or music and or dreams. Somebody would start singing a song, and before you know, 10 more people are singing the same song with him or her. And so we also played a lot of games to pass time. So cricket was obviously in the carom, PT, volleyball, and when we were not actually playing, we were actually cheering the inter-hostel tournaments and whatnot. But unlike my batchmates, I was known for a very different routine. I actually used to frequent Delhi very often. So I will stay for 5 days in the hostel, and then 2 days I'll go home, and that gave me the best of both worlds. So I was getting home food for 2 days, and then I was getting 5 days. So it gave me the best of both worlds. So from that perspective, looking back, probably it was one of the good strategies.
Okay, great. So were you part of any clubs or societies like Fateh or any robotics society, something like this?
I was not really the front runner on these leadership. Much of the leadership that you see on my profile, I
Okay.
learned after leaving college. So that's a very unique thing about. I had, looking back, I had really feel that I had no unique talent which will make me that leader in the hostel, except I had a very good ability to memorize all the class notes and create copies of that in the exam. People knew me from as a Xerox machine, so I could produce this thing. But and as with many others in the hostel, I was trying for everything. I was playing carom, I was playing cricket, I was trying to get into the hostel team. But did I have one mastered technique which will make me the leader and the this thing? No. And obviously in hostels you'll appreciate that the group dynamics is pretty strong. So
Yes.
you have groups of people who actually work in the common interest, and from that perspective I would say I had no affiliation with any of the group. So I was more of a loner. I did join Gambit, the chess club, that time. I was the secretary of that chess club. And but every evening, still after drinks, one or the other group will make the life memorable. So you don't need to be a part of that to enjoy that. Somebody will be fighting, somebody will be shouting, somebody will be singing. So you actually could enjoy even looking at others.
Yes, yes. So, any fest or events that you fondly remember?
So obviously, Saturnalia used to be the best on this thing, and so once or twice I was in the registration committee of the Saturnalia, and I used to register students who will come from outside. Obviously, there were my batchmates
Yes.
who had a much larger flair for organizational capabilities, were actually involved, in the larger organization. But my contribution was in bits and pieces to these festivals and the college activities.
Okay. So, were you the first bencher or the last bencher?
I would uh, you know uh, I was a 9 pointer, so more than nine
Oh,
pointers.
great.
So I was normally the front bencher, so and
So,
from an academic perspective, it was okay for me.
so do you used to study the whole semester or some days before the exam?
So my approach was to finish the preparation much earlier. So,
Great.
like what used to happen, if I recall, we used to have midterms and all between 10 to 12 or 10 to 1, something like that. And then when I
Yeah.
come back, while others were moving around, hey, what is tomorrow's question paper? What could be the subject? Can you tell me something? I will finish the syllabus for this thing, and then in the evening, either I will become the 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 non-designated teacher for many. Hey,
Yes.
if people come to me, or I will be moving around in the mess as if there is no exam tomorrow. So I was always ahead in preparation. So you will never see me flipping those pages at the last moment. Oh, I haven't done this, I haven't done this. That never happened to me, and that to me frankly took as a made me as a good planner in future life also.
That's good. So, how did Thapa's academic environment and peer group helped you to shape your career?
See, obviously, for each one of us who has gone through a course at Thapar, the stay at Thapar or any college for that matter is always transformative. So you when you enter and when you come out, you are two different people altogether, right? So the academic environment was rigorous. It was still nurturing, but to me, most important thing that differentiated us as Thaparians was this mindset of analytical thinking, the discipline, and our keen desire for a continuous learning. And I see that even now when we meet our batchmates, now after so many years, we are all still learning, right? Now, many of my batchmates uh, have gone and become leaders in the industry. Now, the experience sharing in Thapar and the kind of mindset of the experiential learning and a continuous learning is, I think, that makes a difference. And you know what, another important part of this cultural thing is, there are friends and then there are family, and because of this, in Thapar, many friends would become family. So
Yes.
that actually was the big impact of Thapar's academic culture. That was the big impact of, obviously, everybody did, like I did, industrial engineering. There was a strong system orientation there. Somebody did mechanical engineering, but one horizontal linkage that you would find among the diverse batches and the diverse branches and the diverse backgrounds that all of was this learning from each other in terms of the continuous learning. I could see many curious faces, at least in my batch, and including my some of my seniors and juniors. That somehow is in Thapar's air per se. As you go breathe there, you start in, developing the habit of continuous learning. That has never gone away from each one of us.
Okay. So, as you also mentioned that you got the chance to stay in the seniors hostel, according to you, how important networking is in college with the seniors as well as the batchmates?
See, frankly, networking is a very broad term, and you network in multiple ways. People network from a people to people relationship. People network through content based unique USP that you develop for yourself, and hence people then like to talk to you. People network for need based, and many youngsters, and including some of people of our age, feel that networking is a temporary phenomena, and you should do it and then forget, then do it, then forget. I am a strong supporter of a content based networking, and not a relationship based networking. I'm a very strong, and I have always developed content. Now, why I'm saying is, what is the content based networking? If I can define the word, moment I develop a narrative which answers what's in it for you, based on my content orientation, that networking that you and me develop is more or less permanent. Now, for the
Yes.
next time when you need insights, to convert those insights into actionables, you will think of me. That is the networking, which is a long term sustainable networking. Obviously, I'm not saying you do away with relationship based networking. You still like people whom you work with when you go to college, when you go to office, when you go to workplace. You have this sense of you know l- belongingness to a group where you would like to work, but that's more defined by the ecosystem and situation rather than your own preferences. Now, in case of a content based networking, is that's where you actually develop real networking. I'll give you a personal example. Even today, even today, if I have a situation on HR front, right? I call up my batchmate who was a great advisor in hostel, and who used to sit in one place, and all of us will go to him and say, hey, this is the situation. What should we do? Hmm? And today, even now, I call him up and say, hey, can I come? The only difference is from the hostel corridor, we now meet in Gurgaon Golf Club. That's the only difference. I still learn from him. He gives me that content orientation, and that's the kind of networking that people long for. People actually, I take him while he's my batchmate, but I still take a lot of learning from him from his content orientation.
Yes. Okay. So, as your career spans government, consulting, as well as tech, so how has this diverse background shaped your unique view on tech policy and the interplay of industry, academia, and government?
A good question. So, Good that we are out of college now, and we are in the career field. Thank you for that. Right. So I certainly feel that the most powerful solutions emerge when policy, practice, and academia they work together, they challenge and they enrich each other. Now, if you look at my journey, career journey, my journey is across government, consulting, technology. It's a continuous exploration of how policy, innovation, institutional framework, and academia actually intersect to actually shape meaningful outcomes. Now, if you look at Harper, obviously, I started with my academic roots, then came to government wherein I understood the importance of scale, the importance of equity, the importance of long-term inclusion, long-term thinking that grounds you into the realities of policy making, right? That's something. And then when you move into consulting, post that when I moved to consulting, that helped me in breaking the complex challenges into small solvable strategic initiatives. And then when I moved to the tech world, obviously I was handling tech all the time, but when I moved to the tech industry, that's when I realized how innovation can be a force multiplier, how innovation can be when aligned with this thing. So what I say is, and then I always made it a point that I would never leave touch with academia. I continued my engagement with academia. I continued my uh, teaching, whether it was mentoring students, whether it was teaching. I have taught at practically many IITs and many IIMs, the MBA students, designed digital courses for them, mentored PhD scholars along with my industry career. Now, frankly, this is something that's a very gray area for many industry professionals, right? If I recall, Harshita, the first teaching assignment that I was given was by IIT Roorkee. IIT Roorkee asked me to teach MIS, Management Information System, to their MBA students. That was way back in 2002 or something, and it was a 40 hours course, 42 hours course. That is, you were supposed to lecture for 42 hours, and I was from the industry. I had no idea what academic delivery, academic curriculum means. In 2.5 hours, I had finished the syllabus, because that's the speed in industry that you work. So that really makes you realize that knowing something is one thing, teaching something is other. Today, 23 years down the line, when I speak for 6 hours with the students, you know, even that is less for covering one topic. Now, because you have so much of knowledge and all, to me, it should be on every industry professional to go get the exposure. When I was appearing for my PhD uh, synopsis and my PhD project proposal, the research proposal, I was that time I was with IBM, and I was dealing with very very complex government digital projects, and I thought I am you tend to have that feeling of accomplishment beyond your actual. So I thought, oh, I am doing a wonder by offering this university a, a research on government services on mobile devices. And I went with a great, uh, you know, confidence that I will present. All the research committee members will get floored, and they will say, "Hey, you are the best. You are where were you, Lovneesh? We want you in this." And I was literally put in a washing machine and pressed in that research proposal, and it was just short of me being thrown out of that room. That this is the most useless research proposal that we have so far received. So that changes your, because in academia, then I realize research is not just what you think. Research is a process. Research is a step by step thing that you need to achieve. that what changes you, and that is where the intersection of industry, academia, and I silently bowed and took it on me. 6 months down the line, I went back to the same university again and said I want to present it again, and they accepted my research proposal, and then that's how I got my PhD. So the intersection of industry, academia, and policy making is something that once you develop a passion for, it's impossible to come out. You cannot come out of this this interesting engagement. I still teach at IIMs. I just finished one at IIM Nagpur senior management program. I'm now doing it for IIM Sambalpur. So I still continue to teach, but that intersection, the passion for that intersection, once you develop, it's very difficult to come out.
Okay, that's great, sir. So, sir, at SAP, as the head of government affairs, what's been your most challenging multi country regulatory hurdle?
So I would say, as they say, you cannot run faster than the ship you are traveling in. So businesses may aspire for growth aspirations, and every company is measured on growth. Every company is measured on revenue. Every company is on this thing. Uh, One of the most complex and one of the most difficult and one of the most consequential regulatory, I won't say hurdle, but regulatory development in the Asia Pacific region, that has been the fragmented and the fast evolving landscape of artificial intelligence and its governance. It's a huge, hugely disruptive area. Now, the thing that you see is, you know, there is a very fragmented and fractured and a diverse approach that everybody is adopting to AI. Everybody is adopting to AI and AI governance and framework. I'll give you example from Asia. In Asia, Korea was the first country to come out with a full-fledged AI law that I want to regulate AI, right? I want to. Japan followed it up with another law. India's strategy is AI for all. That is, I want to use AI for inclusive development. Singapore's strategy is that I will take AI not as something good to be, AI is a necessity for me. I will use it in every possible way. Now, see the diverse of the other countries are still working on the enabling ecosystem. Now, as companies, then one size fits all in terms of the offerings around or offering or use of AI doesn't work. Doesn't work. It actually then you need to have a multi-layered approach and multi-layered strategy. Now, the point, like for example, what we do, uh, the harmonization of global standards at least, so that people can talk to each other, the cross-border collaboration between countries, going and engaging for thought leadership, on AI. Some of these, you need to run in parallel, so that you have this this advocacy that works. Now, and mind you, the AI governance, the learning for me, since you asked for the regulatory part, AI governance is no longer a regulatory compliance. No, it's a leadership imperative. It's a leadership imperative. It is people who went through the hype of AI are now realizing that to get the value from AI, you need to have an AI governance and ethics in place. So it's a leadership imperative. It's no longer a, a, a compliance issue that we are talking about.
Okay, okay. Thanks for the knowledge, sir. I never knew that this also is discussed within the countries. So, now in your experience, what's the difference between working in a system and on and in the system simultaneously?
Yeah. So, again, I would say this is a very good question. So, वो जो सिस्टम को समझते हैं, वो
Hmm.
सिस्टम को चलाते हैं, वो
Hmm.
जो सिस्टम को बदलते हैं, वो इतिहास बनाते हैं. So, that's what I would like to say. So, working in a system means operating within its boundaries, delivering
Yes.
outcomes, navigating processes, optimizing performance. It's about understanding the rules, the respecting the structure, and making things work efficiently. Efficiently, the word is efficiency, right? And that's where the execution lies. Working on a system, however, is stepping back to redesign, to reimagine, to reform. It's about asking, is this system still fit for purpose? Is does it serve the people it has meant to serve? Now that balancing in the system and on the system has been central to many of us who have grown professionally in terms. So we have all worked within the systems while nudging it to change for the future. Obviously
Yes.
technology pushes it much faster. So what I'm trying to say is the learning that at least I have is true leadership, Harshita, doesn't lie in navigating systems. True leadership
Mm.
lies in reshaping them to serve for a better future. That's the difference between working in a system and working on a system as I see it.
Okay. So, what's one behind the scenes career moment or any major decision you made that surprisingly led to a major impact in your team?
Sometimes the smallest turn in your path, it doesn't change your direction, Harshita. It changes your destination. So that's what
Yes.
exactly happened to me. And again it reminds me of a शेर कि that मैं कभी अपने हाथों की लकीरों से नहीं उलझा. मैं कभी अपने हाथों की लकीरों से नहीं उलझा. मुझे मालूम है किस्मत का लिखा भी बदलता है. So for me, the
Mm.
biggest shift was one of the most defining moment in my career was the transition from government to corporate. That happened in 2006. Now, at that time,
Okay.
it looked like a professional pivot, an opportunity to explore different ecosystem outside government, go to corporate, work there, and all. But in hindsight, it became a strategic inflection point for me. It became a strategic inflection point that reshaped my entire leadership trajectory. In government, I learned the value of scale. In government, I learned the value of policy depth. In government, I learned the value of public accountability. But moving into the corporate sector then gave me the lens of agility, the innovation, stakeholder driven execution. Now, what seemed like a role change turned into a mindset transformation. And mind you, 2006, I shifted from government to corporate. I can safely say today, Harshita, 2006 to 2007 were not the years of learning for me. These were the years of unlearning for me. I was leaving one mindset and entering into this, and that actually shift led to the foundation of my work today in terms of technology, governance, and public value. It allowed me to create that vision which I apply even today to my career journey and to the responsibilities that I have.
Okay. So, in the next decade, what's one major, almost sci fi level tech government innovation you hope to see happen?
If I had to, if I had to envision, if I have understood your question correctly, you're asking, give me the example of one sci-fi enabled government innovation, right? That's what you're
Yeah.
asking. I would, I would dream of a cognitive public policy engine. What do I mean by that? A cognitive public policy engine, an AI powered real time policy simulation and co creation platform. What is the meaning of that? Imagine a system where government, citizen, industry, academia can simulate the impact of a proposed policy on jobs, on environment, on equity, on innovation before even it is implemented. That's one. Second,
Yes.
the AI models, trained on data, behavioral economics can predict the unintended consequences, suggest alternatives, and even flag
Yes.
the risk. Citizens can then interact with policy draft through natural language interfaces, providing feedback, that will radically transform the way all of us operate in a system. Imagine if it is uh, too content thick for you to understand. If I give you an example, do I if I have to initiate driverless cars in India today, right? Look, so many things I have to do. I have to do now. I have to think about what is the social impact on the driver's income. What is the legal framework for the Motor Vehicle Act? What is the technology framework? How am I going to ensure the drive of that? Imagine all this is done cognitively by AI powered this thing, and I have everything on my fingertips. That's what I visualize as one scientific or one sci-fi government innovation that can help at least a countries as diverse and as big and as complex as India.
So, so, since you are actively connected with academic institutions, if you taught a real world masterclass at Thapar University, what would be its title and what unconventional wisdom would you share with us?
Okay, so if I mean, I don't know what is a master class, but I assume it's a class. So if I were to redesign,
Yeah.
I would title it as maybe unlearning to lead. To reframe success in a disrupted world. You no need to learn. My theme would be हम जो सोचते हैं वो जिंदगी नहीं है, हमारे साथ जो होता है वो जिंदगी है. So what we need in today's
Hmm.
dynamic landscape, where technology, policy, and global priorities we shift faster than my academic curriculum, because everything changes, so fast. It's not Unlearning is not a skill. Unlearning is again a leadership imperative. Learning will equip us with tools. Unlearning frees us from outdated assumption. Unlearning frees us from rigidity of the frameworks. Unlearning frees us from the inherited biases that no longer serve the present. That is where, I would and my advice to students in this master class would be: you will be taught how are you going to develop products and services, and how are you going to sell it. What you need to now add is, in addition to your go to market strategy, the non market strategy of the impact of ecosystem on you. And that is where the unlearning from the traditional thought process will actually start. And and most importantly, I want the students to start thinking in the college itself that I need to develop a mindset that will embrace ambiguity. It will never be in black and white, it will always be gray. And reinvention and continuous reframing that I would like to propose. So, my title would be Unlearning to Lead. Uh, the focus would be on unlearning. The idea is to ensure that there is a continuous learning mindset that students evolve.
Okay, that's great, sir. So, if you could go back and relive one day from your Thapar years, which day would it be and why?
Again, you are back to Thopper life. So, frankly, what does one celebrate? You celebrate your achievements, right? So, if I
Yes,
have to go back, frankly, it would it would undoubtedly be our farewell party, right? So
great.
that day, that is a moment which is suspended between memories of the college and dreams on the corporate world, the dreams of the future. So that evening is just not about goodbyes. That evening is about celebrating everything that all of us built together. The friendships that we forged in hostel corridors, lessons that we learned in campus, going through the campus placement. So those nights don't end with a goodbye, they begin with a promise. Hey, see you soon, and promise to carry forward the spirit of that friendship, that ambition, and belief in each other. And that is what has continued. I'll give you an example. My son just got married in December. My elder son just got married in December. I invited few of my batchmates. All of us are very extremely busy people. Extremely busy people. Can you can and we are 180 people, of which maybe not more than 80 or 90 of the batchmates are in India. Others are abroad, in Canada, in US, in other parts of the world, and all. I had 32 of my batchmates coming for my son's marriage along with their family. And
That's
my son had less of this less number of his friends. The point is, once you develop that friendship for life, it's a friendship for life. That's where, and that is where I would like to go back. If I have to go back, I would like to relive the farewell day and embrace each other again. Hey, do great, and let's keep in touch.
that's great. Do you remember any of your professors who helped you to shape your career?
Oh, so that's a very good question. I'll tell you one very common thing is, you realize the value of professors and parents after you leave, right? Those professors who appear very tough, that time, very strong, very, I would say, difficult to handle. Actually, when you look them now in hindsight, you realize they had a purpose in doing what they are doing, right? So otherwise, we would have done. Imagine, in our time there was no phone, there was no WhatsApp, there was no texting. We were still able to do a fantastically coordinated job of what is called mass cuts. So what will happen? It will start with few nods in the corridor. Hey, are we doing a mass cut? One, two, three, four, and then, very soon, before you can see, 90 students are off the class. The professors, some of them will take it personally, some of them will take it lightly, some of them will. But but today, when you look back, you realize that without you realizing that time, lot of what they told you has somehow got ingrained into your subconscious thought process without you realizing at that time, and that has somehow become the foundation of what you do now, right? So that is where, and it happened to me in 2009. I was teaching IIT Roorkee MBA. The student came to me and said, can you help me with my strength and weakness identification? Now that you have taught me for 6 months in a semester, I taught him for two. I said, okay, let me think about it and I will send you a mail. He said, okay. I sent a mail that, to me, you are a great learner, but you come forward with a very casual attitude and all. I forgot. This last month, I received a LinkedIn message from the same student that, sir, I still read your mail and try to change myself according to that. I said, which mail? I had forgotten. I had forgotten. And then he takes a screenshot and sends me on LinkedIn as a message. So when you look back, you realize sometimes how important it becomes for you, in the later. So in my case, we had Professor Bali who will teach, Professor TP Singh, if Professor Anand, material science and engineering open book test. Then we had Professor Bandhari teaching us fluid mechanics and all. So when you look back, I still remember Bernoulli's because of Professor Bandhari. Bernoulli's equation. I still remember. I still visualize. So that's the kind of impact that they have. Only when you leave the college, then you realize, the professors' impact. And now me and Professor Bali are connected on Facebook. Whenever I post, he likes it. I really feel very happy.
That's great, sir. So, how do you feel Thapar has evolved since your time, and what advice would you give to today's student navigating both life and academics?
So I think, obviously Thapar has evolved on multiple dimensions, multiple directions. The number of students has grown up considerably, right? So I don't know how is the inter-student or interpersonal relationship at this point in time, given the huge backside. But obviously, Thapar has evolved in academic excellence, significant upgradation of the academic curriculum, aligning with the global standards, collaboration with international universities. Like you have a course with Dublin now, and they actually do a more interdisciplinary kind of an approach. Then you have obviously the infrastructure and facilities have grown multifold. Those have been really the state of the art labs, centers and all, which were not there in our. So the focus on entrepreneurship and innovation also, I see, big way. The global exposure for student is another direction that Thapar has moved forward, and to some extent there is a focus on holistic development. That in our case it was pure academic when we were actually doing that. Now, if I have to give an advice to the current students, you know I would say flow along. For initial few years, flow along. you know शोर मचा लेने से नाम नहीं बनता. शोर मचा लेने से नाम नहीं बनता. काम ऐसा करो कि खामोशी भी अखबार में आए. Right, so that is where that would be my advice. So one, the balance is key. Don't just chase grades, engage in clubs and all. Shape your personality. Take that time, which frankly is a learning for me. If I have to go back, I would have shaped my personality more than my grades. Second, don't build resumes, build skills. Don't build resumes. We in industry are very good at discounting your resume. We know when you are giving us the resume, how much of it is actually. So we are so build skills. Third, start networking very early. Start networking very early. Be your peers, your professors, your alumni, they can often lead to mentorship. They can often lead to jobs. They can also often lead to collaboration. People wait till they feel to the need to network. And if you network, you won't feel the need to network. That's more important. Then never leave your curiosity. That is Thapar's hallmark. Never leave your curiosity, because this curiosity will then turn into your capability. This curiosity will turn into your capability. Learning is essential for earning. Without learning, there is no earning. Let the students know this. Without learning, there is no earning. Most important is, as you come to industry, take care of your mental health. Don't get into uh, this thing. And finally, be ethical and be kind. So that's where, as I said, शोर मचाने से नाम नहीं बनता. काम ऐसा करो कि आपकी खामोशी भी अखबार में आ जाए. So that is where people should know you for your content, for your work, and not for the good English, and not for the good command on the subject that you offer. Have respectful this thing, networking attitude, and life will take you to places where you haven't even thought about.
Yes. So what are the soft skills which are necessary to work in the corporate world?
So, one big area that I have seen people lacking in terms of the soft skill is this focus on continuous learning, the communication. Obviously, everybody would like, in terms of soft skill, you to be very good in communication, because in the absence of communication, working with colleagues is almost impossible. Second is, given the way the corporate is evolving, develop the sense of respecting diversity. Develop the sense of respecting diversity now, because you won't get and like I handle full Asia. As I
Yes.
move from country to country, the whole definition of interpersonal relationship changes. Some people react, some don't. When somebody is smiling, it means yes. When somebody is smiling, it means no. Right? So the diversity, and when somebody is nodding the head this way, in some places it is no, in some places this is yes. That diversity come with an develop an attitude that you will be actually. required to remodulate your behavior, your interpersonal skills uh, on a daily basis, then the ability never to stop learning, the attitude of never to stop learning, is something that's the only recipe that will take you. Otherwise, no. And fourth, develop a very good sense of technology exposure at this point in time, right? So not the exposure that I'm using chat gpt or I'm using copilot for this thing, but the actual use of that, and develop an analytical mindset that will take you there. So develop that, and rest assured, things will be the path will be smooth. I won't say it will not be bumpy. At least it will be smoother than you think of.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. It was nice connecting with you.
Thank you. I hope that gave you what you were looking for.
Yes, of course.
I can only wish all the students of Thapar right now all the very best in their careers. Let's stay connected. We are all very good people to stay connected with. And thank you to you and your alumni network to actually take this initiative and then bring the old pass out to talk to you and then present it to the current students. I really appreciate this initiative. Hopefully, this will lead to the impact that you are thinking. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Our pleasure, sir.
Bye bye. Bye bye.